Hi everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Fahim Niaz. I'm the product manager for Animate Studio. Today's webinar is an awesome webinar with Victor Paredes. You all know who Victor is, and he's an avid Animate Studio user, a professional animator, and he works for Floor Films. He's worked on major projects around the world, and he's one of the core guys that produces animations and videos for us as well at Smith Micro. So this particular webinar will be focused on character rigging and animation in Animate Studio 10. And with that, what I wanted to let you guys know is that we will have a question and answer section that we wish that you fill out whenever you have questions, and we will get back to you on those questions at the very end of the webinar, and we'll answer them as we can. If there are too many questions, we will try to answer them in our forums. With that, Victor, we'll pass the reins of the webinar to you now.
Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you for being here today. The webinar today is about rigging again. So I don't want to repeat some concepts I have teach in the other webinar. So this webinar is about rigging with the new features of Animate Studio 10. So for that, I will use a simple character I have here. Okay, it's this character with a guitar. Okay, so this character is already rigged. You can see I have the tailbone here. Okay. I have bones for the legs. Okay. I have the head. I have a couple bones for the hair. And I have bones for the arms and the guitar. Okay. So it is a very simple rig. If you don't know how to make this, you can check the past webinars about rigging and rigging in Animate Studio 9. So this is a normal rig for Animate Studio 9, okay? But this rig presents several problems that now are fixed with the new features of Animate Studio. So for example, if I go beyond frame 0 and I move my character, you can see the entire character moves, but the legs are not fixed in the ground. Okay, so we used to use lock bone, which is a feature here. We still can use that, but now we have a better solution for that, and it is called target bone. I want to create a new file. You can see now we have tabs here. It's very nice. So basically, a target bone is a bone. One bone will follow another bone. Okay, so one bone will be pointing always the other bone. So for example, I have this bone, and I will create another bone with no parent. So I will select no bone, and now go to the add bone tool, and I will create this new bone. Okay, so now if I select this, here I can see the name of the bone. It is called B2. I can change the name if I want. I will name it target. Okay, and now I will select this bone and go to the bone constraints window here, and you can see this window is now a little different, a little bigger. Here we have the new option for a target, so I will open it and we'll select the bone called target, which is this one. Okay, and now you can see the shape of the bone change. It has a new symbol here. And now if I close this and go beyond frame 0, I can animate the target, and the other bone will follow that target. Okay, so this is the very basic construction of a target. Now I will erase this bone, and these targets can be used for creating legs, for example. So if I create a leg here, and now I will create another bone with no parent. So remember, if I want no parent, I have several options. I can go to the selection bone tool and click anywhere, and now there is no bone selected. Or I can use the add bone tool, and I can press add and click anywhere, and now you see there is no bone red. Or I can just press enter to deselect all the bones. So now I will create this new bone. It will have no parent, okay? And now I will name this again as target, okay? And I will repeat the process, but now with this bone. So select this bone, go to bone constraint, and select target. Okay, so now this bone will follow this other bone. Okay, so we have a basic leg, and now we don't need to move the leg, we only move the foot, and the leg follows the foot. Okay, so this is the basic construction of target bone. So I will go back to the other character. Okay, so we have the character rig in the Anime Studio 9 way. Okay, so we're gonna add some bones to make targets. So I will go to the add bone tool. With alt pressed, I will click in nowhere here or anywhere. So no bone is selected, and now I will create a target bone for this leg. Okay, so here will be a target bone. Okay, and now I will create another target bone for the other leg. But first I have to select no bone because I don't want parents for this new bone. So I can add click here. You can see this bone is not red anymore. And now I add another bone. Okay, so I have the two bones I will use as targets. Okay, now I will reduce the strength of these bones. Okay, because I don't need to move points, I don't need to move pixels with this bone. Okay, it is similar to this bone of the tail. This bone is only to move the rig, not to move the pixels or points of the character. Okay, so I set the strength to 0. Remember, if you drag to the right, the strength increases, and if you drag to the left, it decreases to 0. Okay, so now this bone has names. I can change that name. So I will name this foot left. Okay, I press enter, and now select this, and it will be named foot right. Okay, this one can have any name, but it's just to keep the rig clean. Okay, and now I will select this bone of the leg and go to bone constraints and select the target. Okay, so I will select foot left. Okay, and you can see the shape of the bone changed. Okay, there is this new symbol, and now if I go beyond frame 0, I can move the target, and the leg will follow that target. Okay, and if I move the body, you can see the leg follow that target. So I have some kind of ground now for this leg. Okay, so now I will make the same for the other leg. So I select this bone with the select bone tool, and now go to bone constraints and select foot right as target. Okay. So now I close, and now if I check this rig beyond frame 0, you can see I can animate my character. Okay. So we have the basic construction of targets, but we have a problem here. The feet are are children of the legs, right? So if the legs rotate, the feet also rotate. So to solve this, now we have a new option here. We can select both feet here. Just select these two with shift, click and shift and click, select the two bones. And in the bone constraint, I have this new option, which is called independent angle. So I click this, and now you can see the legs are always pointing to the same direction. It doesn't matter how I move my character, the feet are always pointing the direction I want, and I can change the direction by hand. Okay, but you can see I can rotate the character, move it, and they will be always pointing to the same direction. So it is a very useful feature for feet, and we will use for other stuff too. Okay. So now you can see our character can jump very easily, and he also can move the leg if I move the target. Okay. This rig is not too good, but it works as example. Okay. So now we have another problem, or we have another option. If I move this bone here, if I move it up, oh, one thing. I am using the manipulate bones tool. Now in version 10, if you select the parent bone, the entire character, it moves. Okay, it doesn't rotate. In previous versions, it rotates. Now it moves, and if I move another bone, it rotates. Okay, so it's a nice addition because you usually want to move this bone. Okay, and now if you want to rotate the bone, instead of moving, you just press Alt in the keyboard, and now you can rotate the bone. Okay, so we have a more powerful manipulate bone tool. Okay, so here is another option. If I move the character up, you can see the legs are separated from the target bone. Okay, so it is useful to make a jump or anything, but there is a new option in which you can scale these bones to get the target. Okay, so this new option works this way. I select the 4 bones of the legs, and now go to bone constraints, and I have this maximum IK stretching. Okay, so it is set by default in 1, and that means that the bones will scale to 100%. So they are basically always in the same scale, but I can increase this, for example, to 1.5 or 2 or 3 or any value I want. Okay, let's put it 2 here. So now my character will automatically scale until 200%, and then he will separate. from the ground. Okay, so this give us the option to have a more cartoony character, so he can stretch the legs. Okay, but now you can see when he stretches the legs, we don't have a squash and stretch here. So we have another option here. Again, I select the 4 bones for the legs, and I can set here squash and stretch scaling. Okay, and it has a value, but if you check this now, you can see if I stretch the legs, they become thinner. Okay. So the character is maintaining the same mass when I stretch it. So the default value for this is 1, but I can increase this value. So if I increase it more, you can see the shape is getting thinner. Okay, so the normal value is 1, but you can play with this. Okay, I will set this to 1. So we have our legs. So of course, now if I want to make my character jump, I still can move the targets up to avoid the stretching. Okay, but there is something you must check. Now the bones are being translated, so you will need a keyframe here because this bone is moving from 0 to 19. Okay, so we will need a keyframe for this bone here. I will copy this keyframe here, copy and paste, and now you can see this bone is in the same position, and then he was up. Okay, so I will make the same with the other bone, copy and paste. Okay, and now he's going up when I want. Okay, so you have to check the keyframes. I most of the time prefer to use the freeze pose option to be sure every bone has keyframes here. So for example, if I freeze the pose here, I am sure the bones have keyframes here. Okay, so it is a very useful menu. Okay, so we have our character with the legs setup. So this is the very basic setup for legs, and you can check, for example, if I check the robot of the library, we rig this robot the same way. So if I go beyond frame 0, you can see it has a target and it is stretching. Okay, the same for the other leg. Okay, so it is exactly the same principle. Okay, there are some bones which are hidden for this character, and we will check that later. So you can see the robot uses the same principle. Also the plant use a similar principle, but in this case you can see the plant moving. Okay, if you have Anime Studio, then you can check this. But in this case, the rig is from bottom to top. So here is the target bone. So you can see it is the head instead of the feet, which is the target. So it is very useful because it let you to guide the movement of the plant by using the head. So it doesn't matter how do you move the body, the head will keep the animation you want. Okay. So it makes very easy to make this kind of animation because I can animate the body and the head in an independent way. Okay. So now you can see you don't see much bones here. There are very few bones for the plant, but actually all that bones are hidden. If I go to bone menu, I can select show all bones, and now you can see all the bones of the plant. So I decided to hide most of the bones because you don't need all of them to animate. Okay. You only need a few bones. So it is a very useful feature too. So if you didn't understand why the plant worked without bones, it was because the bones were invisible. Okay, so now I go back to the guitarist and I have the setup for the guitar here, and you can see the guitar is child of this bone, the bone of the stomach. Okay, so this is how you will set up the guitar in version 9. Okay, but it presented several problems. For example, if I animate the hands up and down, let's suppose here. Okay, so he's playing the guitar. Okay, and now I can animate this other hand here. Okay, it works, but now if I want to move the guitar or rotate the guitar, it doesn't work anymore because now the hands are playing in the air, right? So to solve this, we want to use target bones too. So I will erase all these keyframes, and now I will change the setup of the hands. Okay. Right now the hand is child of the arm, right? And the other hand is child of the other arm. Okay. So I will break this parent. I will select the hand and now go to the reparent bone tool, this one, and I will click in the guitar bone. Okay, so now the hand is child of the guitar, not child of the arm. Okay, so now I will go to the select bone tool, select the other hand, and make the same. Go to the reparent bone tool and click on the guitar. Okay, so now if I rotate the guitar, you can see the hands are following the guitar. Okay, it is not working yet, of course, but you can see how the hands are children of the guitar. And now I will name the hands. So I will select this hand. It will be named hand right, okay, and this will be hand left, okay. And now I will set up a target for this arm. So I will select this arm, go to bone constraints, and select hand left. Okay, so now hand left is the target of the arm. Okay, so the arm will follow the hand, and I will make the same for the other arm. So I select the other arm and now go to target here and select hand right. Okay, so now if I go beyond frame 0, you can see I can move the guitar. Okay, this rig is not working too well for this, but if I rotate the guitar, you can see the arms are following the guitar. So now I am rotating the guitar, but I also can go to the transform bone tool, okay? And this is new for Anime Studio 10. Instead of having one tool for change the position, one tool for change the scale, and one tool to change the angle of a bone, we now have, instead of having three tools, we only have one, okay, the transform bone tool. And you can see that when I use this tool, we have these little circles here, okay. So it works this way. If I am over this bone, I can drag on this circle and this will scale the guitar. Okay, so I can scale a bone by dragging in the top circle, and if I go to the other circle, I can move the guitar. Okay, and now if I want to rotate, I just drag over the bone and I can rotate. So I don't need to switch between different tools to make this movement. Okay, so now you can see how the character can move the guitar and the arms follow that. Okay, and now to make the movement more extreme, we can scale the bones. So for example, here I can select the bones of the arms, and I will make the same I did with the legs. I will set maximum IK stretching, okay, and squash and stretch. So now I will press enter to unselect that bone. So now I can move the guitar far away from the character, and the arms will stretch to get that position. Okay, so now we have different uses for target bones. We have targets for the legs, okay, and a target for the guitar. So you can see how we can create different uses. It is not rigid. There is not only a way to rig a character. Okay, you don't need to follow exactly what I am doing. I just want to show you different options, and you also can create your own options, your own techniques. Okay, this is the thing I like the most about this software. You are always creating new stuff. Okay, you have the tools, but you create the new stuff. Okay, so now let's suppose this character will be animated. So I want to animate this hand. Okay, so I want to move the hand up, then down here. Okay, it is not working too fancy. I will check this with a smart bone. Here, this bone is called V6. So I can go to the window of the action and go to V6. You can see the smart bone working here and the other smart bone working here. So I can fix this problem. Maybe now it is fixed. Okay, a little better. Okay, so I continue. Okay, let's suppose he is playing the guitar. I also can rotate the hand of the guitar. Of course, if this character will be better, it will work better than this, but this works as example. So now I can create a cycle for this bone. So I select the last keyframe of this bone, right click, and select cycle. Okay, and now I will create an absolute cycle which goes back to frame 2 in this case. So I press OK, and now I have my character playing the guitar forever or until I want to stop him. Okay, and now we will create a cycle for the other hand. But for example, in this case, it is hard to select the hand because we have the bone of the guitar. So there is a new option to hide the bones. I show you the plant had hidden bones. So I can select the bone of the guitar, and I can go to the bone menu and hide selected bones. Okay. By default, this doesn't have shortcuts, but you can edit your own shortcut if you open here in Help, the keyboard shortcut window. Okay, so you can add or change all the shortcuts you want. Okay, so I will hide the guitar bone. It's still there, but it is invisible. So now it is easier to animate the hand, so I can hide this bone too. So now I have isolated this arm. So now I go to the transform bone tool, and I can move. Sorry, here I can move the arm to simulate he's playing. Okay, let's suppose something like this. Okay, so now I will set a cycle for this. Set the cycle to 2. Okay. So now we have the character playing the guitar. Okay, maybe the cycle can be faster in this case. Okay, he's playing faster. Okay, the good thing about this is now I can animate the guitar, but I need to show the bones of the guitar. So I go to the bone menu, show all bones. So now the guitar bone is here, and now I can animate the guitar, so he can have the guitar up and continue playing, or down or back. Okay, so basically I can animate the guitar. So we can animate the guitar and we can animate the character. So I want to focus in the feet movement. So I will select all the bones which are not part of the leg, and I will hide them. Okay. So now you can see if I hide that bones, I also hide that keyframes. Okay. So it is very easy, it is very clean to work because the character is still moving, but I only focus in the bones I want. So now, for example, I can move the character down, move it up. Okay. I will create keyframes for all the bones here. Okay, to freeze this pose. And now, for example, he can move the leg here. Okay, so we have this animation, and I can edit the in-between. I can move and rotate the leg. Okay, I forgot to freeze the rotation of this foot, so I will copy and paste the frame from frame 0. So you can see I have this. I will create keyframes for all the bones here. And now continue animating. So you can see with the new tools, it's very easy to get this kind of animation, and you can see how we are using the squash and stretch for the legs, and the character continues playing the guitar. Okay. Now I will show all the bones again, and I have a couple bones here for the hair, right? So usually we just select these two bones, and we can create, go to the bone constraint, and we can create some dynamics, right? So now the bones will be animated automatically following that dynamics, okay? And it works nice, but if, for example, I rotate the character down, you can see here there is no gravity, okay? The bones are pointing always to the body, but we don't have real gravity, or something like real gravity. Okay, so it works nice, but it could be nicer. So we have an option here that if we select these bones, we can go to the bone constraints and set independent angle. Okay. So now it doesn't matter how this bone will be always pointing to the ground. Okay. But the problem of this is that I lost the dynamics, because I am telling the software to always pointing to the same direction. Dynamics can't work, okay, because dynamics means the direction should change. Okay, so there is a trick to have dynamics and independent angle working together. Okay, and this trick is to create new bones. So I will create new bones child of the head. So for example, a bone here, and now again child of the head, a bone here. Okay, and I will set the strength to 0 for these two bones, and also I will make this bone, instead of being child of the head, it will be child of this new bone. Okay, so we have this, and the same with the other one. I add and click the bone to select it, and now click the new parent. Okay, so now instead of having independent angle for these two bones, I will uncheck that. I will put independent angle for the new bone. Okay, so these bones will be always pointing to the same direction, and these two bones are child of that other bone. So now we will get dynamics, but with gravity. You see? So we only add a new bone for each gravity bone, and we have gravity plus dynamics. Okay, of course we can edit the dynamics to get a better result. And also, this bone, we don't need to see this bone, so I can just select all of them and hide them. Okay, hide, select bone. So the bone is still working, but I don't see them. Okay. So we can continue animating. So if you check, for example, the fire rate of the characters which comes with the software, you can see that if I rotate the body, the hair is always pointing down. Okay, and also these, I don't know the name of, but these things, and also these, they are always pointing down. So it is made the same way, but the bones are invisible, so I can show all bones, and you can see exactly the same construction here. So we have the bones with dynamics, okay, and we have the bones with independent angle. Okay, so you can see it is exactly the same behavior, and you can see here we have also target bone. Okay, we have some smart bone which moves the bones of the dress. Okay, and we have some smart bone. You already know. Okay. So I will open this character again to have the bone hidden. So you can see the animation of this. Okay. It's not working well, but you can check this at home. Okay. So now I think we are done with the guitar. So you can see it's very easy. There are several uses for target bone. And now here is another use. I have this character, okay, and he's riding a tricycle, okay, but it always has been very hard to animate this kind of situation, because if you rotate, for example, this wheel, okay, you have, in the past, you had to adapt the legs by hand for that rotation. You never got good results, and it is almost a work you have to do frame by frame. Okay, so it is harder than it should. Okay, so now we can use the same thing for we can use target bone for this setup. So I can select the leg. Sorry, I have the bone pedal bone here. You can see it moves the pedal, and I have the other bone pedal here. You see? So this is pedal 1. So I will select the leg of the character, go to bone constraints, and select pedal 1. Okay. And now I will make the same with the other leg. Select the leg, go to bone constraints, target, and select pedal 2. So now, every time I rotate this wheel, the legs automatically will follow the pedals. But for example, I have this problem here, and it is the leg is too short to get the pedal. So I just select the four bones of the legs, and I can set maximum stretching. Okay, so I can set this to 2, and I can squash and stretch. Okay, so now the legs will always get the pedal. So you can see I just need to move the wheel, and the legs will follow the pedal. So another problem here is that the pedal um, is rotating with the wheel, so it shouldn't, because we get this weird result. So I just select the two pedals, go to bone constraints, and I will check independent angle. So now every time I rotate the pedals, I rotate the wheel, the pedals will be always pointing to the same direction. Okay. So we set up this, and now I can make my character to move the pedals. For example, here I will set this as linear, okay, to keep always the same speed. Okay, it's a little slow, but okay. And now I can move the entire body, or I can move the chair here. And you can see it doesn't matter how I move the entire character, the legs will always follow the pedal. So I have a lot of freedom for this character. Okay. But now we have the problem with the hand, because the hand should be touching this part of the recycle. So I have the hand set up like this, okay? So I just will make the hand be child, instead of the arm, it will be child of this bone, which is the bone which controls the entire character. Okay, it's like the parent bone of the entire character. So now the hand is not child of the arm, it's child of this one. Okay, and now I will name the hand. I will name it hand, and I will set a target for this hand, and also I will use a scratch and stretch scaling and some scaling for the character. So now, if I rotate the character, it is still touching the pedals. Okay, so here is another use for targets. And now another use for independent angle. I can select the bone of the head, and I can go to the constraint menu and set independent angle. So this way the character will be always looking to the front. Okay. Of course, it doesn't work too good in extremes, but you can see how this works in normal situations. So you have a very flexible character here. And finally, and this is all, but I want to show you too, this bone is called B1, okay? So we can set up the wheels to rotate at the same time as B1 does. So I just select the wheels, the two wheels, and go to the bone constraints, and we have angle control bone here. So I set B1, and I have a value of 1. That means these bones will rotate at the same speed of this bone. If I set more than that, they will be faster, and if I set less than that, they will be slower. Let's suppose they move at this percentage, okay, or at this number. So now you can see, if I rotate the wheel, this wheel, the other wheels will rotate. Okay, so here I have, for example, a better animation of this character. So here is the character moving. This animation is made by point animation by hand. So I don't think there is any kind of magic here. It is just animation made by hand. Okay. So this are some uses of the new constraints. I hope you enjoy and learn from this webinar. I hope you like the new version of the software. There is a lot of new stuff, very cool, but we can't cover all that in only one webinar. So now I am ready. So Fahim, if there is any question, you can.
Yes, sounds good, Victor. Thank you very much. Yes, I definitely learned a lot as well. I'm going to ask our participants to ask their questions. We have several in the queue right now, so I'll ask you those, and as they come in, then we will try to answer those. We may go over time a little bit, past our 1 hour allocation, so if you could please be patient with us, everyone that's watching the webinar, that would be great. I'm sure there's lots to learn. So Victor, the first question is related to smartphones. Would you be able to show how to lip sync using smartphones, potentially just going through some different layers or however you've done it in the past?
Yeah, I think it is answered in the last or one of the last webinars I did. I did a webinar about smartphones, and there you can check how to make lip sync. I think it is well covered there. So it's better to check that. I can show you, for example, the pirate. So for this character, I have two smartphones here. One opens and closes the mouth, and the other squash and stretch it. So it is not. You can make very basic lip sync with these two bones. You can add more bones. So, for example, I could add a new bone here. Let's suppose this bone will be called OO, okay, with no strength. I will select this and show the label here. I can open the window of the actions here, okay, and I will create an action with the same name of the bone, OO. Okay, so now, for example, in second 5, I can rotate this bone, go to the mode layer, and I can set up an O. You don't need to make this for all the phonemes, the phonemes. Okay, it is not a very nice O, but we have an O. So you can combine now open and close with O. Okay, so basically you can combine 3 or 4 bones for the mouth, and you can make some lip sync. Now there is people which prefer to make lip sync with switch layers, or by hand, or using the smartphones. It actually depends of what do you want of the character. Okay, I like to use a smartphone for most of the characters, but other people just don't. So that's
okay. Thank you. Thank you, Victor. Just building off of that question, do you ever use bone constraints as well to do any lip syncing?
bone constraints. Let me think. No, I don't think so. I should think about how to combine that, but I don't really know how would you use bone constraint for lip sync. Maybe there is a trick, but I don't know now.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, can you animate the target bone on and off For example, if you wanted the plant head to follow for some moves, but then you wanted to have it independent.
No, you can't. Maybe in the future you will be able to do that, but right now in this version you can't. Targets are forever. So, but you can still using log bone, and log bone is animable. There's not the same. It is not the same, but it is something. But right now you just can't.
Okay, thank you. Another question related to target bones. Should target bones be used for pupil control?
Target bones. Yeah, it could. I don't remember exactly. I remember someone posted in the forum some kind of rig to create pupil movement. So it is possible, but sorry, I don't have the idea for that right now. But you can ask in the Lost Marble forum. I am very sure there is someone who created that kind of rig, but it is totally possible.
Okay, thank you, Victor. The next question is, in the guitarist rig, how are you getting the player's right hand in front of the guitar?
Oh, okay. It is actually very simple. You can see here, I will use paid and selected layers to make it easier to see what layer I have selected. So I have the body here. So you can see in the body layer, this is the body layer. Okay, so you have the body, the legs, the head, and this part of the arm. So you see there is no hand in the body layer. So then I have the guitar layer, and the hand is over the guitar. Okay, so this is the technique. You just cut your character in several layers. That's how do you make it. So it could be in the same layer of the guitar, or it could be in another layer over the guitar. Okay, but the trick is separate in several layers of the character. So for example, if you check, for example, I have the body here, and I have this part, the half of the hair. I have it here, and the other half is here. So you can see I have two layers to generate the 3D positioning. Okay? So these are the tricks. Basically, you just separate the layers.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. There was also another question related to where the right arm was, but in showing what you just did, we know that it was part of the body. So the next question is in regards to the guitar and the guitar player. If if the character wanted to throw up the guitar in the air and bring it back down and catch it, do you have any recommendations on how to do that?
Let me think. Usually for these tricks, we use two characters. One with the guitar being child of the body, okay, like in this case, the guitar follows the body, and another character with the guitar separated, so you animate the visibility when you want to separate the guitar of the character. So that's most of the trick. But anyway, you can use another technique. So for example, I will freeze the pose here. So I just created keyframes for all the bones. And I can take the guitar far away from the character, and I can put the targets of the hands back to the character. So I have this, I have the guitar separated. from the character. So it looks like it drove through the guitar, but it presents problems. So for example, if I move the character, now the guitar is still following the character. So probably what you will have to do is throw the guitar and then make this guitar invisible here. You know, you have a little triangle here, and you can set the visibility of the guitar. So now he throws the guitar, and now it's invisible, and we will have another guitar. Okay, I will try to make this fast. So we have another guitar, and this new guitar will be visible from this layer. Okay, so I have a guitar, totally separated guitar from the rig. So let's go. It's here. Okay. So now it looks like he drove the guitar, and now I can move the character, and the guitar is not moving because it is actually not the same guitar. Okay, but to make this better, of course, it is better to have the hand in a separate layer because he just lost the hand. Okay, but that's the basic idea.
Thank you, Victor. The next question is there any way to unhide just some of the bones, not all?
No, right now you are forced to show all the bones.
Okay, thank you. Next question is, what is that new relative keyframing button on the timeline for? It's right beside the onion skins.
Yeah, it is not new actually. It's from version 9, I think. For example, if I have this character, if I move the layer, not the bones, the entire layer here, so I have this movement, okay? Suppose I have this movement and then this movement here, okay? If I want this movement, but for example, I don't want the character moving in this part of the screen. I want the character moving in the right of the screen, for example, here. I check relative keyframe, select the keys of the movement, and now if I move the character, all the keyframes will also be moved. So now you can see it is making the same movement, but at the other side of the screen. So that's relative keyframe. It works over any of the keyframes which are selected. So I can move an entire animation by dragging only one keyframe. That's the idea. I will put the character back. Here. Okay. That is relative keyframe.
Thanks, Victor. So there are a few other questions related to smart bones. I will ask those questions now. Can smart bones control other smart bones?
Yes, they can. Smart bones can control almost anything of from an animation, almost any channel. Maybe all the channels. I'm not sure, but for example, in the pirate, you can see when I move the leg also moves the dress. Okay, so the leg is set up, the smart bone. I will show all the bones to show you this. I think this bone is set up to move all these other bones. So you can see the red bone is the smart bone, and the green bones are the bones which are being rotated and translated by this bone. So every time I rotate this bone here, the other bones will move. So we can modify this to make it more visible. So for example here, okay, or for example moving the arm. So now if I go back to the main line, I will erase the animation. Every time I rotate the leg, you can see the arm is moving. So yes, you can move bones, and you can move bones which are smart bones. So you can control anything with the smart bone.
Thank you, Victor. There's another question related to smart bones.
Okay.
So if you are animating a mouth with smart bones and you are doing a head turn at the same time, will the mouth retain its smart bone position?
Yeah, it is about how do you create the smart bone of the rotation. So I will try to make a fast example. So for example, here is a head. Okay, I will create a couple. I will create the eyes. Okay, so we have a head with eyes. And I will name it head. And now I have the mouth, right? And I will create a mouth. Okay, so now I will create a smart bone here with no strength to control the mouth open and close. So it is called B1, so I will create the action B1. And I will tell the software that every time I rotate this down, the mouth closes. Okay, very basic. So I have this. Okay, and now I will create another smart bone for the head turn. Okay. Head turn with no strength. Okay, and I will create an action for this head turn. So I rotate the bone to this frame, for example. I will move the eyes by hand. Now he's rotating here. Okay, and one technique to keep the mouth animation is to, instead of moving the points, I can move the layer of the mouth. Okay, and I can scale the layer, rotate it, whatever I want. Okay, but moving the layer and not the points makes that the two smart bones doesn't fight each other, because this one is moving the layer and this one is moving the point. Okay. So this way, it is a very simple example, but it is a technique to keep both animations clean, because one is moving points and the other is moving the translation channel of the layer.
Thank you, Victor. Another question related to smart bones. How can you change colors using smart bones?
It's very easy. Actually, if I go to B1, which is this smart bone, no, it's this, sorry. I go to B1, and in this case, the bone is rotating down, right? So I can go to the head, for example, and just change the color in frame 1. So, for example, it will be darker. So now I go back to the main line, and now the color change. Okay, so this is a one frame smart bone, but for example, if I go to the head tool, which is a longer smart bone, I can put keyframes here in between for different colors. So I can go to the head, select the shape of the head with the select shape tool. And I don't know, I want to blue, I don't know all the colors in English, but from this to yellow to this to red. Okay. So now every time I rotate this bone, the colors change. So it is exactly the same for every channel. If you put a keyframe in between, there will be a change when you modify when you rotate the smartphone. That's all.
Thank you so much, Victor. So we have a few more questions, but we're 10 minutes past our allocation. So what we'll do is we'll answer a couple questions, Victor, and then we'll wrap up the webinar. So one of the questions is, what would be the best way to sync the guitarist or a dancer to the rhythm of a music soundtrack?
Okay, I think I don't have a soundtrack right now, but if you have a soundtrack imported to Anime Studio, you will see the wave of the movement. Okay, and most of the time you will be able to see the beat of the music. Okay, so you can animate a cycle, or you can animate following that beat. Actually, that wave can tell you where are the breaks of that animation. So it's important to see and to identify where are the beats of the animation. Actually, I remember one time I had to animate a Chilean typical dance here, and I didn't have a soundtrack, so I use the audio recording which is inside Anime Studio, and I clap following my idea of that dance. So with that claps, I could animate that dance. So I think you can clap, you can import your audio, and always follow that wave. Actually, that wave always also works for create lip syncing. You can check when the mouth is closed, when it is opening, and you can play with that.
Okay, thank you, Victor. So we'll just answer a couple more questions here, and then they're more or less related to recommendations. Victor, how would you recommend to animate a character drinking from a cup and then setting the cup down?
I think that maybe the best technique is make it by hand. I like to create complex or simple rigs for several tasks, but many times just point animation works. So, for example, if I have this is a glass, and this is the liquid, okay, wine, okay, the glass liquid. So I can animate this. I can take this player and rotate it, so he's drinking, okay, and I can just animate the points. I will freeze this pose here. Okay, let's go. It is here. So now you can create the effect by hand. So it will take a little time For example, this. Okay, it is not too fancy, but it works. So I think many times you don't need to create complex. Really, just animate and try to keep things clean. Okay, of course, you could create a more complex glass and more complex water inside it, but I don't know. I don't know if it is always needed. Hmm?
Okay, thank you. And then the last question, Victor, is do you have any tips on importing vector artwork into Anime Studio from, let's say, Illustrator or as SVG?
Actually, I don't know if I have any tip because I always prefer to illustrate inside Anime Studio. I don't like to import artwork from other formats because these are different languages. So when you illustrate for animation, you know where to put the points, how the curve must be. There are several things you are considering that you are not considering when illustrating just for an image. Okay, so you illustrate thinking in the movement. So sorry, I prefer to draw everything inside Anime Studio, and I think most of the people in the forum, or most of the people which use the software also thinks that. Sorry, I don't have anything for that.
That was actually part of the question as well, is would you rather draw it yourself within Anime Studio? So you basically answered that question. Perfect.
Okay.
So very good. Go ahead, Victor.
Usually, I don't use Anime Studio to create the character. You can use, I mean, to draw the character with the pen. It is better to use other software. Some people like Photoshop. Some people like Magna Studio or Sai or other software. So you just draw there, then you import that file, and then you trace the character in Anime Studio. For me, that is the best workflow. If you like to draw in a paper, you can draw in the paper, scan it, and then import that image in Anime Studio and continue working with the vectors.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Victor. I'll now ask Michi to pass over the reins of the webinar to myself so that I can conclude and finish up and wrap up the webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I actually wanted to say, Victor, I learned quite a bit in your webinars, and this one is no different. I'm sure tons of our users as well and participants learned a lot of new stuff. So thank you for your time. I know it took quite a bit of preparation, and I also wanted to thank all the participants for joining us today. So thank you to both of you and all of you. So if you guys haven't purchased Anime Studio and want some more information on Anime Studio 10, please make sure to check out our website, animate.smithmicro.com. This video or this webinar will be recorded and will be uploaded in our webinar section. The link is the second link on the page that you're looking at right now, my.smithmicro.com/webinars. Look for it later on today or in a few days' time. It definitely should be up. And if you have any questions regarding this webinar or regarding any of the features in Anime Studio 10 or any other version of Anime Studio, please make sure to check out lostmarble.com. That is our official Anime Studio forum where we answer questions. Victor will be there, and if we've missed any questions today, I apologize, but if you'd like to ask those questions on the Lost Marble forum, definitely somebody will answer your questions, if not Victor himself. As well, I totally recommend that you follow us on Facebook if you have a Facebook page, or if you're a participant of Facebook, and then as well as Twitter. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, that would be awesome, and you can learn the latest about Anime Studio there. So if you'd like some really good deals on Anime Studio, we definitely recommend that you subscribe to our email list. The link is available at the top here of this slide, and if you have a website and you'd like to spread the word and make some money on Anime Studio, you can definitely become an affiliate. The link is the second link on this page here. And then finally, if you're a student or an instructor and you'd like to get some educational pricing, then please check us out on our campus site. Finally, once again, I wanted to thank Victor for all of his time. And if you'd like to check out some of his work that he's done for Smith Micro as well as for some of his clients, you can definitely check out his YouTube link. It's the first link on the page here. And then as well, he works full-time for Floor Films, a very avid animation studio in Chile, Santiago. So please check out their work as well. And Victor also teaches Anime Studio in Santiago. So if you happen to be there and you want to learn a thing or two about Anime Studio from the man himself in person, then check out the links that are available there as well. With that, we wanted to thank you very much. Thank you, Victor, again.
Thank you.
And wanted to thank all the participants for joining us today. We'll hopefully see you soon for the next webinar. Take care and have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.